Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Super Series Tuesday. Today, we have some very awesome guests today. We're going to share with you our or their insight on women in building. This is episode 3. I am your host, Stephanie Milburn, and today I am joined by my lovely co-host, Miss Erica Rawls.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hey, Erica.
Hey, I'm happy to be here.
Good, good. We're happy to have you. You're looking really spiffy today. How's your Tuesday
Oh
going?
my goodness. I don't know about spiffy, but I am excited to be here. I was telling the young ladies before we actually started that I was going to be a little bit selfish because I always wanted to learn about this topic. So I'm ready to
I know
dive
you've
in.
been like smiling from ear to ear. She's like a
I
kid in a candy store. So we're gonna just
have.
go ahead and dive right into it. So if you could bring out our lovely guests, we have Miss Kimberly Dudley Dixon and we have Benatia Poole Watson. And we're so excited to have these women on our show to discuss women in building. So typically just the whole building and construction process, it's looked at as, a male dominated industry. So we're excited to show women that are doing their thing in this industry of real estate and real estate investing and wanting to share that information with you guys. So let's go ahead and introduce, ladies. If you can start, Benatia, let the audience know who you are and where you're from.
Sure. Hi, everybody. My name is Benisha Poole Watson, and I am based in Dallas, Texas. Originally from LA, represent. I am in real estate development. Obviously, I'm here on the platform, but I do own a couple companies. I have one that's a real estate sales company. I have about 200 agents that work directly for me all across the United States. We do both residential and commercial real estate sales. And then I'm also a builder, developer, investor. And I also own my own bank. It's called Prime One Home Loans. I'm the sole owner of the bank. I do not have any business partners. It is a direct lending platform where that means basically what that means is I fund all the deals myself. And I do the Fannie Mae, the Freddie Mac, and the Ginnie Mae, and a bunch of other stuff. But long story short, that's me in a nutshell. And I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Well, that was a lot. I had no idea that you
I
owned your
had to
own bank. So,
digest
I
that,
mean,
right.
that's a whole
Yes.
new episode. Like, we have to have you on again just to talk about that aspect of it. So, thank you for joining us today. We're excited to have you here. And so, we'll turn it over to you, Kimberly. Let the audience know who you are and where you're from.
So thank you, ladies, for having me. I appreciate the invitation and having the opportunity to share this unique space that we occupy. So I'm Kimberly Dixon Dudley. Obviously, I'm in real estate and I'm born and raised a native Houstonian.
Okay.
Rarely do we run across those, but I am a native Houstonian. I live here in Houston. I build and develop here in Houston. I do own a real estate brokerage, which is my primary passion and my love, real estate sales. But I am also a owner of a development firm and construction management team. And I have been in real estate for about 15 years now. We have a 20 single family home, excuse me, development that's scheduled to break ground in December, God willing. 20 single family affordable homes. It's called Vantage Point at Sunnyside, www.vpsunnyside.com. And that is construction development, my own company, all together, all in. And I've started a construction management company in 2017 after Hurricane Harvey, AmeriFirst General Contracting of Texas. And so we built 11 homes in conjunction with the city and other municipalities, the General Land Bank, Land Grant of, General Land Office of Texas. So got into real estate, just really got into development, really helping other investors a few years ago. So I would help folks acquire land, do the necessary market research and developmental studies. And then I said, 2018, I could do this. And so I did, and I formulated Dick Dud Development, which is the company that will be ushering out the 20 single family homes here coming soon.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. And I know Eric is eager to jump into these questions. So I'm gonna let her ask you guys some questions because she's like, I'm ready. I'm taking all the notes.
Let's
Now,
go.
first, I need for us to sprinkle this show on your timeline because one, just to see people of color actually leading in development is not something that you see every day. So do not take this for granted. We have people here, women, that have the knowledge and they're willing to share. So we want you to be able to share this, sprinkle it across your timeline, get as many people as you possibly can to listen in and ask questions. Be engaged, because this is what we do. This is for you. This is not for us. This is for you. I'm just happy and honored that we actually reached out to them and they said yes. So in spite of
That
the busy
part,
schedule,
that part,
yes,
that
they
that willing to
responded.
share part, that's very important because not a lot of people are willing to give the information, and we're wanting to provide it. We're wanting to spread this throughout our communities, especially the African American communities that have women that are wanting to grow in the real estate industry. So this is very important. So that part, when you said willing to share, that is huge. So thank you
Mm-hmm.
again, ladies.
Yeah, yeah. So let's just get right into it. So, how did you actually get into development? So today's topic is women in building. So we want to know, like, how did you get into development? Like, what were some of the steps that you had to go through just to get there? And either one of you can start.
I think I shared a little bit in my introduction of myself. In real estate sales, I had been helping investors do this, and there's nothing like taking the hits and getting up to bat and seeing it happen, and actually seeing some, you know, growing pains on somebody else's dime.
Mm.
Needless to say. But so in helping investors in the real estate sales aspect of it, I gathered the knowledge that okay, I'm capable of doing this, and that's what really catapulted me into the development space independently.
Yeah. Okay. Benicia, how about you? How did you get into it?
So, you guys, just a little bit about how I got into the space. Doing residential and real estate commercial sales, I was able to help a lot of people transition into real estate and home ownership,
Mm-hmm.
and particularly residential real estate. So, because I sold so many houses, my first year I sold over 200, my second year I sold over 350. So, I was able to help a lot of people, and I got a chance to know exactly what the people want to hear. So, what kind of flooring, what color paint is more attractive, what type of appliances are more attractive. And I intook all that information. And when it was my turn to have a bright idea, when I came up with the idea to develop, I knew exactly what I wanted to put into the spaces because I knew what would sell. And because I sold houses, I could put my own sign in the yard. So that's pretty much how I got into it. It just was, we'll talk a little bit about how I operate, but I have this, I get into this space where I just get a thought and I wake up one day, I'm like, okay, God spoke to me. He said XYZ, and I'll just go with it. And so I ended up getting into development just based on the thought. And one day I woke up and I said, what am I going to do that's going to outlive me? How can I impact people that, for a lifetime, for a long time, way after we're gone? So I was like, okay, when you look around and see these buildings still standing here, these roads are going to still be here. We're going to be gone, and the next generation is going to come up. Who's going to be able to see what we left behind? So that's how I actually got into real estate development.
Wow. Okay. And then I'm assuming that you had someone walk you through that process. Now you saying you being a rock star your first year, because that's not normal. Everyone in the real estate industry would know that, but maybe your common person won't know. But you just don't start in real estate and just sell 200 houses in 1 year. So for that, you're just to be commended too. Now, for those of us who are thinking, okay, waking up and I just start developing, it's not that easy, right? So one of the things I'm thinking about is, okay, did you have a mentor? Like, how did you actually start? What were some of the things that you did besides, like, you learned through, trial and error with your 200 people, then building construction, knowing what their needs and their wants are. So you understood the consumer side of it, but the actual development side, where did you get that training from?
So first and foremost, you have to have money. So that was the first thing that I had to come through. So I took $1 million cash of my own money. Because of my connections in the business, I was able to tap into different people, general contractors, people who are actually building, and I was able to ask them questions. But really, I didn't really ask too many questions. I just said, "Can you do this for me?" Because I already knew what I wanted to do. It was just a matter of paying somebody to do it. I
Right,
knew
right.
that you can hire the subcontractors and all that stuff. I'm not going to do that, right? An actual builder doesn't do that either. But I just was able to connect with the right people just based on my track record in the real estate business. And then I didn't really ask any questions. I just watched. I told them exactly what I wanted to do, and the rest was history. They did exactly the way I wanted it, from the plans to the, I was on site every day with the engineering and all that stuff like that, the architectural structures going up, the slabs going up, all that good stuff. I was there for every minute of it, but it was my design. I was just basically vocalizing it to someone else.
Okay. Kimberly, yes.
So I really actually,
to that.
I'm sorry to cut you off. I really actually learned as I was going. That's where I'm going.
Yeah. Okay.
So she just said something that was really key, and I'll tell people who are listening who have no knowledge of development. Building a single family house is not the same thing as developing a community, developing an infill community, tapping into municipalities, creating streets. All of that takes understanding how your municipalities work with builders and developers. And so it's leveraging relationships that you may already have. I would also say there are organizations like ULI, Urban Land Institute, that's the largest real estate organization in the nation. And they have a huge female base of membership, and they personally teach the process of development, from financing. How do you secure that $1 million? How do you vet your vendors? How do you execute with a municipal contract if that's the case? So I would say just certainly align yourself and leverage your relationships, and align yourself with some education opportunities just on your own. That would be my recommendation for anybody listening.
That's good stuff. So when you guys, started off, I mean, of course, like we said, it's not just something easy that you just jump into. So what types of challenges or hurdles did you guys have to overcome? And was it more directed to you being a woman in this industry, or is it just the process?
For me, I came across a couple different challenges. People think it's easy to build. They just say, "Oh, I want to buy land and put a house on it. Oh, I have a vision and I want to put a building there." When you disturb the earth, you're opening up a whole nother can of worms. We don't know what's underneath there until you open it up, look at it, and examine, right? So it's a lot of things. There's wires and pipes and things and electrical things that we don't see that are installed. So, disturbing the earth is a challenge. One incident I think that's memorable is that I opened the earth and discovered that I had a natural well underneath the lot that I bought. And so, of course, the water has been living there all of its life for hundreds and thousands of years. And here I am trying to build something on top of it. Craziness. So I had to basically build a bridge over that. I had to run a pipe. The pipe cost me about $40,000. The city wouldn't pay for it. You have to have a budget. You have to have a cushion when you're doing this kind of stuff. It's not as easy as, okay, I have $100,000. Let me put a whatever on top of it. No, it's so many different things. We got through it. I paid for it. It was no other way. But had I not had the funds to pay for it, imagine where I would be up the creek, lost all my money for the dirt, run into half project situation. I got to pay people. So it's just a lot of things that go on with the development that you have to do your homework. You have to do your research. And there's just things that you're never going to know until you get into the weeds. So just be prepared and always have a cushion when you're building.
One other thing I'm going to share. So this is such a good conversation, y'all. I'm so glad to have this in an open space. Venetia, you're right. And I'll share another incident that happened where I was helping an investor with a project, 10 acres of land. We were set to go, had the engineering, site planning, land planning, everything's done. Then one of the engineers came and said, "There's something not right with this sewer line." Well, it turns out we needed a $750,000 lift station in order to access sewer lines to that site. Now, my investor owned the land outright. It was family land. He didn't have a debt, so it was, not an issue for him. But that basically killed the deal. I mean, and I just will rewind this a little bit. We went back to the city, because we're creating, say 50 houses, 50 to 100 homes in a subdivision. That's a tax base that the city is receiving. There are all kinds of benefits for the city to engage and help support something like that. When I say city, I mean county, wherever your municipalities are. So I would encourage people to one, when you're doing that due diligence, get with a team of experts who know infrastructure. If I could say anything in terms of the smartest way to avoid mishaps, and there's no way to 100% avoid them, but the smartest way to try to circumvent them is to get ahead of them on the front end with your architects, your engineers, your title team, all of those folks. And so I would say you'd want to have an engineering mind, measure twice and cut once, right?
Okay, y'all. So if you just joined us, we're here with Benicia Poole Watson and Kimberly Dixon Dudley. They are both heavily into the redevelopment sector, women heavily in the redevelopment sector. I'm really excited about that. So what I would love for you to do, again, is to sprinkle this on your timeline, ask any questions. This is a rare opportunity to have people with this type of knowledge share the stage and this platform. So yeah, we're going to get back into the questions, but I just wanted to interrupt this just a little bit just to get more people engaged into it. So, Benicia, something that struck me with you, you were saying just right out the gate, you just funded the project yourself. Now that's not common, y'all. So, Benicia, you're doing things that are a little bit uncommon, unorthodox. So you have favor, okay? You have a lot of favor. So I want to know, for someone that wants to start that may not have the funding, or the cash available, what are some ways in which they can start funding their projects? Like what's the best avenue for them to start funding their projects? And Kimberly, I would like you to weigh in too, please.
Sure. It is unorthodox to fund your own project, especially at that scale. And the reason why I was able to is because I didn't have experience. I didn't want to go to a bank and ask for money and go through a whole process of a denial or a bunch of paperwork trying to get approved. I just said, okay, I got the cash, I have the means, I have the skills and ability. I'm going to go ahead. And that actually gave me leverage. So the next time that I went to go do another project, now I can use other people's money because I have my track record of here's what I've already built. Here's what I know what to do. And I have the experience. I have my HUD-1 statements, and now I can go borrow. If you don't have that ability to pay cash and get that head start, I recommend hard money. So what you can do is you can get into the space of getting a quick short-term loan up to 12 months. That's enough time for you to hopefully build your project or whatever you intend to do, your single family home, your commercial building, whatever. And then if you're planning on flipping it, you can obviously sell the structure, make the money, and pay the loan off and keep your profit. That's how you gain traction. It's like quick money, real quick, 12 months, get in and out. The interest rate's going to be a little bit higher, but what do you have to lose when you don't have it? You know what I mean? You got to start somewhere, right? So if you don't have the hard money, if you don't want to get into that space, or let's just say that you're going to keep the structure. I may want to hold this home and have it for a short-term rental, or maybe I want to live in it. You can always get out of the hard money loan by refinancing the loan. So once you've completed your project, there's no time frame to wait. You can go to a bank just such as myself. You can come and you can do a refinance on your loan. The interest rates are really low right now. We're at like 3.25, 3.1%. And basically you get out of that hard money space and then you revamp your loan into a traditional loan structure, conventional loan, whatever the case may be. So those are the things that I would recommend if you want to get started in the space of development and you don't have the money.
Yeah, thank you. Kimberly.
So I'm gonna lead by saying knowledge is equivalent to funding and financing in this space. And so we actually use 3 different funding sources. One is I create partnerships with other investors. So there may be there are people, let me say this, who are quite liquid and have funds that they need to invest, and there's not another investment instrument, period, that gives you the return that real estate will provide. And so I would say, one, find folks who have some liquid cash that they'd like to invest with, and you utilize your knowledge and expertise and marry that with a partnership. The second way that we have funded projects is through partnering with people who own land outright. And I mentioned that earlier. So if someone has family property, they own 10 acres, they're just holding it and paying taxes on it, they come in as a partner, and then their land is then, you're then allowed to leverage the land as equity when you go to try to source funding from a banking or financial institution. So when you go and say you want $1 million line of credit and someone's got 20 acres of land or 15 acres of land, the value of that land is then applied to your down payment or your equity requirement for that financial institution. So creating partnerships, partnering with landowners, and third is the most traditional, which is what we use the most, is really our banking and financial institutions. And my sweet spot is affordable and moderately priced infill developments. And there are banking institutions, financial institutions who have internal monies available to fund those type of projects that are structured differently. You still need to provide your bank statements and show that you're financially, capable of supporting the line or the loan, but they have special lending requirements. So for instance, not that I'm plugging anybody, but the bank that we're working with now, Cadence Bank, they actually have a CRA, a community reinvestment loan, and it's funded and underwritten internally. So their guidelines for you as an investor or developer are going to be a little bit different than if you go to Chase or Wells Fargo.
That's good information, guys, and I'm glad that you're sharing this with everyone. So we've talked about how you guys have gotten into the development and how you get into building, and whether it's commercial or residential, and how you guys have leveraged these relationships. So let's talk about some of the products that you guys have produced. So I know we talk about all the back end stuff, but let's talk about what you guys have presented to the community.
Go ahead,
So
Kimberly.
I currently, I've done a few projects in the East Downtown, the Third Ward area. So these will be 6 packs, 10 packs of townhomes in the Third Ward area. So most of them are closed and sold, but one of that I have currently on the ground is 6819 St. Augustine. It's not in Third Ward, it's South Union, but it's right on the door of Third Ward, and it is an affordable product. Priced at $313, and it is available for sale right now. Just went on the market. So if anybody's listening,
Kim, let me just stop you right there. I just want to give people reference because Kim is in Houston, Texas, guys.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if we have a lot of viewers that will be checking this out. So I just want to let you know she is in Houston, Texas. So this property that she is giving the address, it is in Houston, Texas, and I'm in Houston, and I'm going to be checking it out.
Excellent. And the other thing that we have about to break ground, which I mentioned earlier, is the 20 single family homes in Vantage Point at Sunnyside. And so again, it is at the corner of Reed Road and Rosehaven in Houston, Texas. It's about 10 minutes from the medical center, 12 minutes to downtown, 2 minutes to Highway 288, major freeway and thoroughway leading from Pearland, Texas into Houston, Texas. And so really, really excited about that. December is when we're planning to break ground. So y'all stay tuned for that.
And when you say affordable housing, what is the price point for those?
Great question. So these will all start at $279.9. I said that. $279.9. So yeah, so these will be a truly affordable product, and it's in a gated community. So
awesome. That is nice. And I know exactly where you're talking about. I was just in that area 2 days ago, so I know exactly where you're talking about. So yeah, I'm pretty sure we will have some clients taking a look at that. And will your homes qualify for like the city programs that offer, like down payment assistance?
That's a great question. So the bank, Cadence Bank, who I partner with on the development side, actually also has a retail product that's zero down and offers no mortgage insurance premium. So the mortgage on this home will be less than what you will pay for rent to live in this area. Less than rent.
Good stuff. That's good
and they
stuff.
do qualify for the TSHAC, City of Houston Down Payment Assistance Funds, which I believe are $15,000 to $30,000 of available funds for each per first-time home buyer.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you, Kim. That sounds like some great products. And definitely, because I'm in Houston, I'll be sharing it with my, real estate, partners and investors and clients and everyone that I know. So, Benicia, what about your products and where are you, providing to your community?
So my space is more in the luxury. So my price point goes from about 450 and up. The projects that I have on the ground right now are in the millions, and the highest one is 1.8. And those are coming soon. It's in Dallas, Texas as well.
So you both are in Dallas, building in Dallas, an
No,
area.
Kimmy's in
No,
Houston.
Houston. Okay.
Houston.
I'm in
Okay.
Houston.
All right. I'm trying to get it straight, y'all. Okay. Texas.
Erica, you're good.
I'm trying to get it straight.
It's
You should just come to Texas.
You
You should
know,
just come down here.
I'm just feeling like I
Yes.
need to do that. I really do. Yes, I really
Yes,
do. Every time
yes,
I come on here,
Erica.
we always have someone from Texas. I'm like, well, dang, what about PA? We doing things up here in PA too.
We're not. No, this is a Texas thing right now,
Definitely.
Erica. You
Yeah,
just
y'all
gonna
do
have
things
to.
big. I
You're
know.
gonna be
I
an
know.
honorary Texan today.
Honorary
So
Texan.
we
I like
do
that.
have a question from someone. If you use an investor, back to the investor question. I think it was from your statement that you made, Kimberly. If you use investors, what's a good return on investment for your investors for your development
So
project?
yeah, so most people will. I probably would not encourage anybody to look at anything under 20% on a return on investment.
Okay. Okay.
Only because you do need to leave room for margin of error. You know, there may be that it goes down to 18%. You don't want anything. You don't want to start any project at 13% ROI.
Okay. Okay. And Benicia, what's your recommendation?
I don't really use investors. I'm in a whole nother space.
She
Like,
said no.
I like to be in charge of my own land. You know what
I
I'm saying?
feel
I
that.
like to be the lord of my own land. I don't want anyone coming in and telling me, don't do this, don't do that. It's just too much confusion. And I see so many people fall out that I'm just like, I don't even joint venture. I just don't. So,
Really? So you don't even partner with
mm-mm,
any? Really? Wow.
mm-mm,
Yeah, we need to get
mm-mm.
together. I want to talk to you sidebar because that's just amazing. Amazing. So you just like, yes, I'm taking over and doing everything. And if you just missed the beginning, she has her own bank. Did you say that, Benicia? You said you have your own bank? I just want to make
Yes,
sure
I
I'm
do.
right. Okay, yeah, she has her own bank. So that's just really that's amazing. Yeah, that's a topic in itself. So that is great. So yeah, one of my aspirations, I'm putting it out there. Always wanted to be a developer. Will be a developer one day. Just felt as though it was too big of a thing to do. But hearing the two of you today, it gives me hope and let me know that it's not as hard as it seems. You just have to go out there and do it.
Right.
What I took away from Benicia is just do it. She woke up and just did it, right? And then Kimberly said, look, I found out ways, connected with the right people, and got it done. So you both took different avenues, but you ended up in the same place, doing things that you really love to do. So that's what I really appreciate about this conversation. And Stephanie, I don't know if you want to have anything to add to it.
No, I'm just really soaking it all in. And I just want to back up because, and this is unrelated. I just want to see, Kim, what school did you go to?
High school or college?
High school.
James Madison High School, home of the Fighting
Okay.
Marlins.
I was like, that's where I know Kim from. I'm like, I know Kim. I'm
We
like, I
went to
know
high
her
school
from
together?
I went to Madison too. So I'm like, I know her. I like she has such a familiar face. I'm like, I'm gonna ask her on the show. What school did she go to? I went to Madison
Wow.
also. So I'm like, hey girl.
Big
Okay.
city, small circles.
Yes, yes, yes. So okay, back to the show. Um I just want to commend you ladies for what you are doing in your communities. I love the luxury aspect of it. I love the affordable aspect of it because I want every African American to own a home, own some type of land, own property, invest in real estate. So I love the fact that you guys are on two different ends of the spectrum, but you are, making it available for people in your community. So that is one thing that I love. And I love that you guys are sharing this with everyone. And, it's just amazing. So I think it's maybe some questions coming up, Erica. I don't know. I just saw something pop up on the screen. But if you guys want to just share something before we end our show, just give someone maybe, some motivation, a little tidbit, or some tips and tricks just so that they can get into it, something that they can do just to get started.
I'll say thoughts produce things. If
Mm.
you can think it, try your damnedest to make it come true. It's not impossible. If it can come into your mind, it's not impossible. Somebody created a wheel. Somebody created a tire. Somebody created the frame, and now we travel back and forth across country. this stuff comes out of nowhere, right? We have bright ideas. Try to bring it to fruition, and don't think that your idea is crazy, and don't tell everybody your ideas. If you have something in your mind, just plant your seed and just go with it and talk about it later when it's erected, because a lot of people will try to discourage you from the things that you want to do because they don't understand the possibilities of where you want to go. So the thought was given to you and not them. Go for it.
That was good. So I'll say this, and I always say this: a mindset. We on this podcast are changing mindsets right now. Like you said, if you can think it, you can achieve it. And I say that don't always think that we have to be consumers. We can create. So we're creating spaces in our own communities, changing and enhancing the landscape of our own communities, and on our own dime, right, Benicia? But
Right.
it's possible. And you don't have to do 20, 50, 100 homes at a time, but start where you are. Align yourself with somebody who's gone down that pathway before. There's no other replacement for mentorship. And I would say just have somebody in your corner that's done what you're trying to do, so that you have a sphere of influence, a tribe that you can rely on, because it's a lot of heavy lifting. It's not like building a single family house, but we can do it. We're proving it.
Yeah, you definitely are proving it. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
Oh, I wanted to say, don't be afraid to tap into these mentor programs. Obviously, vet who you're going to be mentored by. Do your research. If someone says they sell credit repair, make sure they have good credit. Go behind the scenes, ask them for documentation. Prove to me that you know how to do what you say you're going to do, right? But don't be afraid to pay. You don't pay attention until you pay. And a lot of things that we're doing behind the scenes, it costs money. You may run across the right people who will help you for free, like me or Kim, but everybody's not like that. And sometimes you have to go out there to get that valuable piece of information if you can't get it within your own space. So pay for mentorship.
She said you
Well,
better get those receipts before you do anything with anybody.
right.
Okay.
I was about to say, she said she was from LA, but sound like
get
she's
the
from the Show Me
receipts.
State. So
Get those
now
receipts.
you mentioned having a mentor. Do you ladies offer any type of mentorship?
I do.
I was gonna say, be
I
careful
don't
what
have
you
to-
say. Be careful.
I know, right?
Who you
I know.
Because I mean, yes.
Okay, I have a mentor program, but I mentor real estate agents. If you come on as a real estate agent, then you can produce real estate, sell, learn the business, learn the game, and then you can wholesale. Then you can buy houses and flip houses. Then you can build and develop. I can't just take every person off the street that wants to be a developer, because I wouldn't have any time to sleep. It would be too much.
Right.
And I don't charge for any of my mentor programs or anything like that. It's just you come in, you learn from the startup, and then you work your way up.
Right.
And are you saying like an agent under your brokerage, or just any real estate agent?
A real estate agent would definitely have to work for my company.
Gotcha. And Kim, what about you?
Well, that's somewhat of what I was going to say. I don't have 200 agents, but I do have a firm, and I have 10 agents here locally, and I'm a very hands-on broker, and so I want to be accessible, answer the phone. And I actually have another agent with my firm. She has 42 homes that she's building with one of her investors. And so my mentorship comes through the form of actually being an agent with Kimberly Lane Properties, because you didn't have immediate access to me as your broker.
Gotcha. Well, if you guys are in Houston, Texas, or Dallas, Texas, then you can become a real estate agent and use their brokerage and become a real estate developer, a builder. Hey, you can have all the homes to sell. So you've heard it here first. We have Benicia Poole, we have Kimberly Dixon Dudley, and we're just so excited that you guys have shared all this information. And again, these ladies offer this through their brokerage for free. So if you're in Houston, you're a real estate agent. You know what? Someone reached out to me recently and they were looking for a brokerage. Now, of course, I would direct them to my broker. However, you have to, vet each broker out to see what works for you and see what's the best fit for you. So if you're interested, and you're in Houston, Texas, check out Kimberly Dixon Dudley. If you're in Dallas, check out Benisha Poole Watson. So these ladies are available for you. They're doing awesome things in their communities, and we're just excited to have you here. We thank you so much for joining our show. And you're doing great in the community. Keep doing what you're doing. And Erica, did you have something to add?
No, Reba Middleton, I wanted to shout her out because she was actually giving you all flowers. She said these ladies are inspiring. I have a lot that I want to build at fourplex. Thank you. Thanks for sister from, oh, thank you, my sister from Dallas. I'm really not feeling partners either. See, she said I'm going to be alone, loner myself. I need to talk with you about doing it alone. I think I have enough to go it alone. So if you're a realtor, Reba, in the Dallas area, reach out to Benisha. Let me tell you how I got in contact with her on IG. She does respond. And if you feel like giving any other information, Benisha, and a better way to contact, you're welcome to do so now, as well as you, Kimberly, at this time. And then we'll make sure that they actually get it. Okay. And we'll add
Sure.
it to the
I
comments.
just want to put it out there that my real estate company is in about 26 locations across the United States. So we're headquartered in Dallas, but we also cover Houston. I don't want to step on Kim's toes, so she got Houston. I'm in Austin, Texas. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm in LA. We have agents in Sacramento, up Northern California, San Francisco area. We're also in Denver, Colorado. We're in New York, New Jersey, Chicago, Charlotte, and a whole bunch of other places that are high profile locations. My full name is Benisha Poole Watson. My Instagram is at my first name, Benisha underscore underscore. So B as in boy, ENAI, S as in Sam, HA underscore underscore. Or you can obviously reach me on Facebook if you send me a message, but most of my traction is on Instagram. So if you DM me, I'll definitely respond back. Oh,
So
and then
same, yeah.
I'll say one more thing. The bank that I
Go
own
for
is nationwide. So I service loans all across the United States. Again, it's a Texas based company. That's where the headquarters office is. But I do loans in every state except New York. And one of the loans that I actually offer that may be good for anyone who's listening, I call it the entrepreneur loan. So basically, I can take 24 months of your bank statement alone and your ID and finance you with no other documentation. So a lot of us who are in the entrepreneur space, whether you're in fashion, truck driving, if you're in housing, if you do not traditionally, or you own a business and you traditionally write everything off, the entrepreneur loan will cater towards what you're looking for. And I've financed up to $2 million just based on someone's bank statement. So I do have another loan that's like I call it the divorce loan. People who are starting over. So if you have a 500 credit score, the average credit score is 620 or above.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have anything below a 620, I can get you financed as well, all the way down to 500. So it's just a lot of things that I want to help do in the community and show people that there are Black women who look just like you, who are out here doing exactly the things that you want to do or achieve, if not, helping you guys to get into this space. So I appreciate everybody having me here today. Thank you.
Thank you. Kimberly, how can we reach you?
So very easy. Just like Benisha, Facebook and Instagram, primarily Instagram is going to be the best way to contact me. Kimberly underscore Lane underscore. Do respond to messages on Instagram. And then, of course, www.kimberlylaneproperties.com. If you hit me up there and drop us a message, that comes straight to me, and I'll see it and be able to respond to you that way.
I think I got it.
Yay.
All right, y'all. Yes, and if you need any more information, just DM Stephanie and I on this page, The House in the Car, and we'll make sure that we get the information over to Benisha and Kimberly. Thank you so much, ladies. If I could just get 2 seconds of your time once we end this broadcast, that will be great. But I do appreciate you. Everyone seemed to have loved the show. They're saying excellent show.
Yay.
Went to names and contact information. And of course, you did not disappoint. I knew you wouldn't. I was excited about the whole week. So thank you. Stephanie, if you have anything to lead us on out, we can close it.
Yes, I just want to again thank you guys. You have been an awesome resource for our audience. And thank you so much for joining our show. Thank you for sharing. That is huge because I've reached out to, a lot of women in the industry. I wanted to put this knowledge out there and for you guys to agree and share. And like you said, you're putting this out there for free. And so Housed in the Car is also a resource to the community and for the, realtors out there. So we like to give information for free as well. So thank you so much. Tune in next Tuesday, guys. We have another awesome and dynamic show for you. We have Chris Senegal is going to be on our show next week. So, guys, if you're from Houston or if you're in Houston, you probably already have heard his name before. And it's going to be another awesome show. So, you want to tune in for that show. We're going to be talking about buying the block. We'll talk about gentrification because people oftentimes see that as a bad thing, but
Dirty word.
right. So we want to make sure that the difference and ways to keep your community, keep the culture in your community. So tune in next Tuesday, same time, guys. Thank you so much, ladies, for joining our show. And don't forget, if you did not start from the beginning of this live, you can, visit us for the replay. So it's going to be on our Facebook page. It will put some clips on our Instagram page as well. Don't forget to go to housedinthecar.com for all of the other free resources available to you. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.